Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hunt Guys podcast. Before we get started today, we're going to plug a promo code. Promo code podcast. Super complex podcast. But if you use that promo code podcast, you want to sign up for GOHUNT Insider. It's going to be good for 50 points. That's $50 back to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. You can use that to buy any new gear that you need for your upcoming hunts, which we're right in the thick of it. We're just getting ready to kick off.
Yes, sir.
And then if you use the promo code podcast to sign up for the GOHUNT Maps app Explorer, you're going to get 20 points, which is $20 back to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So we would love it. Use our promo code podcast. Let's beat out all the other promo codes out there floating around. We want the Big Hunt Guys promo code.
Podcast.
So sign up for either GOHUNT Insider or GOHUNT Explorer. Use that promo code. Get yourself some money back to the GOHUNT Gear Shop. And they have all kinds of gear. I was out there in the warehouse. Tons of stuff.
It's hopping lately back there, too.
It is cranking.
Must be hunting season.
Yeah. I saw a picture.
Everyone procrastinates.
Yeah. What was it, yesterday, 2 days ago? I saw a picture, they were loading up the back of a UPS truck, just chucked to the brim.
We filled the whole entire thing with GOHUNT orders.
Yep. Which is good. But we
Huge shout out to the warehouse team, by the way.
Yeah, those guys are crushing.
Hell yes, they are.
They do some great work.
And in the Vegas heat, just fucking owning.
Some of my favorite people in the GOHUNT office.
Yeah.
Those guys are just chill back there running around. They've always got some tunes playing, just picking orders and
good
packaging.
Tunes too.
Oh, great tunes.
Tunes I forgot about.
Yeah, good taste in music out there in the warehouse.
Love that.
Yeah, so we're going to do a recap of our Antelope hunt that we just finished up last week at home, Sunday?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so this will be the last in the series of videos.
I'm not even sure what the series we're on.
I think this is fifth.
Fifth, yeah.
Yeah, so we did a day-by-day series of our antelope hunt that we're going to release all together, and this is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
Just kind of got all back together in the office.
Wrap up
the last day.
Yeah, so what was your guys' last day? You had 2 days, right?
No, it was our last day.
Last day.
Last
okay.
day, yep.
Last-ditch effort.
Nothing,
Rail.
Not a damn thing.
All right, we're done, boys.
This is going to be the shortest recap ever.
Last day was hard. I had such high hope for the last day.
Yeah.
Especially after I saw that buck the evening before, came to like 300 yards and then walked the same way it entered in. I was like, he's got to water. Right. And where's all these other antelope that had been in that same valley the whole entire week when Brinker was hunting it? Like, they got to be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And it's a good spot. We didn't really do a lot of, we never pressured a lot of those antelope either, so.
Yeah, we weren't out bumping them, moving them around a lot.
Like, yeah, Brinker spot and stocked for a few days, but he never really spotted stock exactly that spot. So kind of like a little sanctuary almost.
Yep.
And I never saw an antelope the entire day.
You never saw an antelope even come to water.
The entire trip, I never saw an antelope come to water. I had that one doe that I keep mentioning. It was like 150 some yards away, but I actually never saw her physically drink. I just saw her come to water. I'm assuming she drank, and then she left. But that was that long pond I sat. Never saw a single antelope the last day. Very frustrating to know. It's the last day. Super jacked. Literally staring at my bow the entire time. I drew back a lot on that last day.
I did too. I did a lot of drawing back.
I was like trying to draw back in different areas. Like, how can I move if anyone comes in different ways? Not having anything. But I did have coyotes come in again, and I called them right into, again, my blind, and I did not shoot any of them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of coyotes, didn't you? 5 the last 2 days?
Yeah, 5 on the day before, and then I think 1 or 2 on the final day. So that was my only excitement. My rabbits were back, though. Remember we were talking about my rabbits?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any of the hawks, though. I was trying to be a nature lover because that's all I could really do out there.
Bird watcher boy.
Yeah. It was pretty warm. I mean, it got warm those last couple of days that you guys hunted, after I'd filled my tag. It was pretty warm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It did kind of blow in the afternoon, though. It kind of overcast and kind of mellowed out. But, I mean, decent conditions, as good as the conditions existed that whole hunt for, warm weather sitting water.
Yeah, and especially what we dealt with all week being that giant rainstorm. Like, it was finally starting to dry up out there.
Mm-hmm.
But antelope don't water.
Yeah.
So if you think they water,
they don't.
They don't.
I literally had a buck that just walked around my blind for 2 days straight. Didn't water once. And I thought for sure. So it was the second to last day. There was a bunch of does with him. They're feeding up this road towards me. All the does come running into the water. I'm like, oh, this is this is done deal.
They came right in.
Yeah, right into water, drank, went off on their way, and I'm still waiting. I'm looking, and I can see that buck. And he's just walking. He's going away, going further away, going further away. Gone. Then I saw him messing around. Like, I could see, like, there was a tank or something that he was around a lot. And that's when you, like, that evening when you came and picked me up.
Yeah.
And I come to find out there actually isn't even water there. So I thought for a second he was watering on this different property that we didn't have permission to hunt. So I was like, oh, he's just getting his water there, and he's never going to come into my blind.
So now it stings even more that he was just being a smart old
Oh,
bastard.
then, like, when he picked me up, he was out in front of me, like, 200 yards. Picked me up. I go back home. We go get out that morning, go out there. First light, there he is, same exact spot, 200 yards, right in front of me. Walks towards me a little bit, walks over to the right, kind of walks away, gone. Never came into water.
Yeah, never did come in. I packed up camp, so that morning I packed up camp, and then I thought I'm going to run up and like pull some of the blinds right off of other water holes that we had them set up on, and I saw a buck bedded, and I called Brady and said, hey, do you want to put a stock on this buck? I hosed you over on that one, didn't I?
Yeah, there was
Yeah. What happened here?
Okay, so I was like kind of hesitant because I was like, well, it's the last freaking day. I should be devoting myself fully to water. But it never watered. So Trail comes over, picks me up. He's like, all right, there's this buck over here. I'm like, sweet. You've seen this buck. You know probably where to drop me off. He's like, yeah, there's a little rise here. I'll just stop below it, drop you off. You get out. It's probably going to be, 200 yards maybe from me, 300 yards?
Yeah, maybe.
But it was pretty close.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, just start belly crawling. He's looking opposite direction. I was like, oh my gosh. I was super excited. Like, here's my chance. I'm going to do everything I can. Take it as slow as I can. Start belly crawling. I'm belly crawling. Now at this point, I didn't have my gloves, my little lightweight gloves. I had little tiny cactuses. Even though I never put my hand in a cactus, I somehow had cactuses all over my hands for belly crawling. Start getting into the position a little bit. A little pickup truck comes behind me. And, of course, they see me. And he slows down. I'm just like looking at him. I gave him a little wave. He drives further. And then all of a sudden he sees the antelope. So he goes even slower. And I'm like, oh, nice. Antelope looks over at him.
Was that Trail in the pickup truck?
No.
Yeah, that's Trail. Hopping in a different pickup truck.
I cleared country, yeah.
Yeah, he drove way away. So I'm stalking again, though. And I was kind of looking around. I'm like, this is flat as a pancake. There's no topography. The only topography is right where I'm at. Once I get up here, he's going to see me the whole way. He has to be looking away from me. I range him. There's a big, like, kind of a cliff man. There's, like, rock piles everywhere behind him. I'm like, oh, my gosh, Trail. In my head, I'm like, maybe the buck got up and rebedded, too.
I don't think he did. I just...
Trail's just so excited. I got a buck for Brady. I'm going to go pick him up, and he's going to go stalk him. But that rock pile was perfect stalking conditions. I could have went behind the rock pile, come up to the rock pile and shot. It was, like, 80-something yards. So, yeah, it was a far shot, but I could have maybe snuck through the rocks a little bit. And that would have been my opportunity.
So you came from, like, a completely different direction?
Came from the flat pancake area instead of coming from the rock pile behind him.
You can see the rocks, Trail?
I did. I just
were you jacked up on Mountain Dew?
No, I was driving, and I was driving along, and I just looked out my window, and I saw that buck bedded, and I was like, oh, shit, he's like 130 yards off the road, bedded away from the road, facing away from the road. So I was like, I'm not going to slow down or stop or anything. And by the time I saw him, like, he was out my window, right? So I just kept going and, got a hold of you when I got up to where you were at. And then as I came back, I remember thinking, like, oh, there's a little bit of a rise. It's like I hadn't done due diligence. I felt kind of bad.
It's all right. It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But it was a
chance.
It was a chance.
For not getting one.
So did he just see you? Then he just came up?
He was, because like that pickup, I think he started looking kind of my direction towards the road, and he was just kind of facing that way. His body was turned more, so he should have been looking the opposite way. And then I'm just like, okay, I just waited for a little while. And they finally turned his head, started belly calling more, and he would start looking his head around. I'm like, my gosh, this is going to take forever. I'm like, I don't have all day. I should be kind of back in my blind. So I did kind of rush the stock as well. But like, I was in them wide open. Like, I was on a hill going down a little bit to him. Like, he could see me the whole entire time. Just wasn't meant to be.
Yep.
And then I walk over the road, and I'm like on this road, and I see Trail parked way away, and I'm like waving my hands, like, come on, Trail.
I thought you called me. I was just chilling.
Come get me, Trail. You led me down the wrong path.
There I am, just reading a book. I'm thinking Brady's going to have a dead antelope here. He's going to text me any minute.
No, it's like I was waving on Trail because, like, come on, Trail, drive to me. I want to go back and sit in my blind.
But yeah, we got you back in the blind. You ultimately just didn't
Sit
have
for what, another hour or two?
Yeah,
Because we left
about
at
2 hours.
noon.
Yeah, 2 hours.
We made Trail pack up everything for us.
Yeah, which is okay.
Any rattlesnakes?
Yeah, one big rattlesnake in the road on the way out to get you guys.
I never heard that part.
Yeah.
Oh.
Came back and there was a great big rattler there in the road. Somebody else had already got to him.
Like right by camp?
Like within a half mile from camp. Like about the same size. Might have even been bigger. Might have had 10 in a button.
Woof.
It was a big one, big dog right there in the road. Run over.
Yuck.
I stopped and took a little look at him, but I didn't get out. I don't like snakes.
No, me either. Hate them.
No.
They're my least favorite.
Neville, did you have any action last day besides anything come in?
Just that one buck that walked around me all day long.
Yeah. I know when I came to pick you up, there were, 8, 9 bucks that were like a bachelor herd of bucks.
Bachelor herd of dinks. It was definitely that one from that cliff band that we saw before.
Yeah, so there were probably, I would say most of those were yearling. There might have been 1 2-year-old in there.
Yeah, they're pretty small though.
Yeah, most of them pretty small, but they looked like they were, like if we'd had another 2 or 3, 4 hours, and I say that loosely because who knows, but.
Yeah, who knows if they would over or not.
Yeah, they were in the general vicinity anyway.
That's antelope hunting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, we still did pretty good. 2 to 4.
Yeah,
archery.
that's 50% archery.
Yep.
It's not bad.
And we talked about Dave. We think Dave had the best hunt.
Best hunt possible. What a beast.
Mode. Love that.
Rolls in, shoots an antelope, barely makes his flight, flies home.
It's like the best hunting trip you can possibly have.
Dave Brinker
Come
seemed
in,
like he had a pretty good hunt.
Shoot him, out.
Yeah. Didn't have to sleep in the barn with the snakes.
That was a smart move by his part, by the way.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
He was going to sleep in there on the ground.
Good thing those bugs and stuff were flying around him.
Snake pit.
Little did he know, 2 days later, there's going to be a big old rattler in there. And probably there was rattler in there every single day.
Yeah, I never saw another one, but I was definitely had my head on a swivel when I was walking around in there. When I was loading up.
I did see a mouse the first day I went in there, so
yeah, that's
they're
right.
definitely munching on those things.
Yeah, I'm sure they were in there all night. You'd have been curled up tight next to Dave. I'd be sleeping.
So you guys know me. I always look for what sort of lessons did we learn? Anything you would have done differently, Neville, on this trip? Again, we can't change the weather. So we can't modify our hunt dates based on weather. We went when we went because that's the opening in our schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you done differently?
That's a good one. Maybe just sit water the whole entire time.
Because you did two spot and stock days.
Yes, I did 2 spot and stock days, and then 3 days of sit in water.
I think I would have switched it and went back to my roots and spot and stocked.
I mean, I think about that too. It's like if I just did all spot and stock, like I probably would have got a crack sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's the lesson. Pick one or the other.
Trying to bounce around. And I also switched blinds. Like I said before, like LeBron switched teams chasing championships. I was chasing success when I should have stuck with one thing.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to do. I had a guy reach out that was hunting. I think he was hunting the same unit. He might have been hunting the neighboring unit. But he killed a buck the week after we were there, and he used one of these decoys that beat. I don't know what the name of them.
Oh,
The one that you shoot through the bow.
Yeah, the one that it goes
through.
onto your bow. Yeah,
those ones look cool.
Your sight and your rest goes onto the front.
Either that or the hat one looks interesting to me.
Yeah, I think both of those. I think next time we go antelope hunting, we ought to try both.
Yeah.
And just do like a nice case study of what seems to work the best. But he did kill a buck with that decoy on the front of his bow.
Because we know regular decoys don't work at all.
And they're too hard to maneuver by yourself.
You can't maneuver them by yourself, no.
And then you add another person, and then it's too many people.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tough to do unless they're real ruddy, I feel like. And I don't feel like I didn't really ever see a buck that I thought looked real ruddy. Did you guys?
Nope.
Yeah, we must have been too early, pre-rut. And a lot of the bigger bucks I saw were by themselves. I did see just a dandy right out of camp that morning. Probably the biggest buck I saw the whole hunt, just 300 yards from camp.
Oh.
All by himself.
That's another thing, too. We did see a lot of bucks from camp, and Brinker stalked a couple of those bucks. But, yeah, maybe we should have just been mobile more and spot and stock. Because, I mean, I've had success spot and stalking, but it's just a numbers thing. You have to do it a million times. And
Yep.
And I think we had enough area there where we could have been a little bit picky, too, and been like, find the one that's in the perfect spot to stock. instead of maybe just doing the numbers thing. But again,
Yeah.
who knows how it would have worked.
We did see a fair amount of antelope, I felt like. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like Wyoming where there's just antelope everywhere, but for that area, I felt like there was a decent number of antelope. I didn't see a lot of big bucks by any means, but I did seem like a fair amount of antelope.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other things maybe that I learned. Lessons learned.
I think for me, lesson learned is just to like go with your gut. Because the very first day before the hunt started, I got up early that morning and I rode the bike out. And I took that one road and I rode it. I popped up onto a little knoll and I looked down into this little canyon and I saw the buck, probably the buck I shot. I saw that buck with like 20 does and he was just right off the hill from this tank. And I don't know, just got a feeling, like I think this is the spot. I think that's the spot. So I feel like once I started to sit water, once it kind of dried out, I felt like I'm going to sit this. And I think if I do, I'm consistent with it. I think I'll get a crack just based on my gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, I mean, I've got this elk tag right now and I'm kind of experiencing the same thing. Like there's a lot of elk and there's elk across the unit, right? And I've seen elk, I've seen decent bulls in the north end. I've seen some decent bulls in the south end. And shit tons of rumors, right? People, I saw a big bull here and I saw a big bull there. And I think if you chase rumors, and you're just constantly like chasing, moving north to south, I don't feel like it ever gives you like the consistency in one area to like really focus in and find success. So I feel like that's probably one of the biggest lessons is like for me is just go with your gut and then two, pick an area that you think you can get it done in and stick with it and be consistent. Because I feel like the more days you're consistently in an area, I think you start to figure it out. You start to put together the puzzle. You're like, okay, I know where that animal's going. I know where he's, bedding. I know food sources. I can kind of start to put the puzzle pieces together where I feel like if you just don't give yourself those consistent day after day after day and you're spread across a wide landscape, I don't feel like you're as effective.
Yeah. I think well, again, I didn't know it at the time, but that water source I sat for those first 2 days, I'm not sure that was the best option for me because that pond was so big and long.
Mm-hmm.
If a buck did come in, we had a good idea of where it was going to water based on all the tracks we saw in that one little corner where I sat. But again, maybe I should have sat a smaller water source that was more concentrated, and then I knew every single day, if he came in, I was going to get shot.
Yeah.
Where those first 2 days, if an animal came in, like it's 50-50 if he's going to come in my side or go down the way where I can't get a shot at all.
I think that area would be good, and I think I'm fairly confident they were probably watering towards the far end where we set that blind. But I think we'd have been way better off had we had a week or 2 weeks to set that blind up and like let them get completely acclimated to the blind being there and then being able to come in and water and go out. I think I've had pretty good success like popping up a blind even the night before and killing antelope off a water source, but I think it's a smaller water source. I think given the opportunity, those antelope come into water, if they would probably prefer to water where you are, where your blind is, because that's what they're used to doing, but they see the blind and they're like, shit, I don't know about that. I'm going to just move down here 100 yards in water.
And I think I probably should have done some more calculations too, and like maybe done some line measurements to the water sources that were near there, because there actually was a lot of water in that little area.
Yeah, as it turned out.
And so just measuring how far out all those water sources are, and be like, well, now we know, if an animal's in the middle of it, he has 5 options to water. Like he might have his routine and wants to go here, but again, there could be all these other ones that they've had used in the past, and it just wasn't that rainstorm that created all the water. There was some standing water that probably was there even when it was dry.
Yeah, when I pulled those blinds, there were still antelope in that valley. Both of those had started to shrink quite a bit. So even from the few days that things had dried out, they definitely shrunk up. But yeah, you live and you learn, right?
That's right. I was thinking of some good stuff for like stalking that I can remember when I was doing some stalks. Because I think the ones that are like you're most successful is like you're going into that stalk thinking it's going to happen. So then like you're totally focused, right? I think a lot of the times once you like in antelope hunting too, you do so many stalks. There'll be some stalks in there where like
you get sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't take your time. You're not totally focused. You rush it. You take shortcuts. But like if you go into every single stalk thinking like this is the one, like I need to be totally focused.
Yeah.
Like I think your odds are going to go up then.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. It definitely is.
Especially when it's so
really
hot
hard
out and you have cactus everywhere in your body already.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah, spot and stock antelope is really, it's like one of the most uncomfortable, I think, because you have to stay so low.
So low, so focused.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you're on your belly, your knees, your hands, you're like army crawling,
And they have that thought of rattlesnakes everywhere in the back of my mind. So it's like,
I do like antelope hunting, though, to start the year off because, like, damn. Like, if you had a mule deer hunt or something coming up.
Yeah.
Like an archery one.
You just get in the zone.
Oh, man. You'd be... Like, right now, I feel like if I went on an archery mule deer, just stalk. Like, if it was laying somewhere, like,
you could crush it.
Like, 100% get in within bow range.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like antelope hunting. One, because it's early. Like, it's fun to go on an early season hunt like that. I mean, you don't feel like you're going to really miss any of your other opportunities because it's so early in August. And I just think they're such a cool animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely am jealous you got some antelope meat. I love antelope meat.
I know. We've been gnawing on it here and there. Yeah, did some jerky, and it's good. I love antelope. I don't know. People say they don't like antelope, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it eats really well. That's like one of those animals that, like, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't probably try to hunt them every year. It's like when you get an occasional tag, but I know that for me, like, if I don't have an antelope tag now, I'm starting to miss, I'm thinking about antelope hunting next year. Like, I really like hunting antelope. They're fun.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to kick off your season.
Yeah, even if I'm sitting water. And I mean, we've discussed it, but, like, I like sitting water. I read books.
Sitting water's nice.
It's like a vacation.
Yeah.
Bro, you do nothing. You just think, have your own thoughts.
Yeah, get inside your head. Think about your life.
It's like you're hiking in too far. Like, you usually have, like, decent food and some drinks. Yeah,
and I like the spike in adrenaline. Like, when,
Dude, that's what I was... So, like, that's what I was thinking of, because when I did have antelope coming into water...
Must be nice.
So there is, like, a huge difference between, like, when you're sitting and waiting for animals to come in and you can see them come in, like, that adrenaline and, like, that hype. Whereas, like, a lot of the times, Western hunting, like, everything's happening so fast, like, the adrenaline doesn't actually hit you. But, like, if you're sitting trying to shoot a whitetail or, like, antelope coming in or something coming into you and you see and you have time to think about, like, what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that feeling like, holy shit.
Yeah, it builds. I mean, I saw the buck that I shot. I saw him, he was working a fence line with a bunch of does. And when I saw him, like, dip under the fence and kind of work in underneath the hill where I lost sight of him, I'm thinking, man, he's headed this way. Like, he's headed this direction, So, like, I'm thinking about it, and I'm not really thinking, like, I don't know, because it just seemed too good to be true that he might actually come. But that anticipation, like, that adrenaline just builds. And then, like, when I look out the blind and he's standing there at, 80 yards and he's broadside and just turns and just beelines it in for the drinker, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Just slaps.
Would you say it's more intense when you're, like, sitting on an animal and it comes in and you shoot it than, like, just calling it an elk comes in and you shoot it?
Yeah, I mean, calling elk's kind of similar because you can hear them, like, that audible response, and you can hear when they're getting closer, so that kind of builds and builds. But I know that, like, animals that like spot and stock mule deer with a muzzle or a rifle tag, where you build yourself into a position and all of a sudden the buck stands up, like, I don't know, almost happens so fast that you just kind of have an automatic response. You go ahead and get in position and take the shot, and then it kind of dumps after. Like, I get that adrenaline.
Because I think, like, on a stalk, right, you're so focused on being quiet, stay in this angle, don't let the animal see me. Like, you're so focused on something else, and then when it does happen, it's just like bing, 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 done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like both. I like that. I like antelope hunting out of a blind, though. I think. Well, we should talk about this. What do you guys think about, like, because if you shoot a buck out of a blind on a water hole, first question, inevitably, if it hits social media or anywhere else, is spot and stock? ?
I know, and there's always that mentality, like, spot and stock.
What do you think? What's your take?
I think it's people are thinking antelope are so easy, like, we need to challenge ourselves as hunters to, like, spot and stock them, because, like, everyone I feel like a lot of hunters look at antelope hunting as, like, the easiest Western big game hunt that you can do is go antelope hunting. So I feel like some people I think they need to challenge
they
themselves.
definitely
But
don't.
I would say sitting in a blind for 13 hours is just as challenging, but in a different way.
Yep, totally is.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything to be like downgraded if you shoot one off water compared to spot and stock. You shouldn't feel all high and mighty because you spot and stocked it. It's still an antelope. It's still hard no matter which method you do. You have to wait to draw your bow back. It's like Neville said, like that anticipation when you see animals, it's skyrockets.
Yeah.
Like your adrenaline does go off.
And you ask anyone that's probably like all they do is spot and stock to be like, would you ever sit in a blind and wait for an antelope? And they said no. And you ask them why not, and they says I couldn't sit that long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying sitting in water is harder than spotting and stalking.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's a different kind of.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting debate, though. I think it's funny because I think on social media, I think it's viewed as being so hard to spot and stalk antelope, which arguably it is. It absolutely is. Like if you shoot an antelope with your bow, spot and stalk, you've achieved something. Like I wouldn't take that away from anybody. Like it's definitely a major accomplishment. But I don't also think that a guy that sits a blind for 4 or 5 days straight from dark to dark and shoots a buck, I don't think that's any less of an accomplishment. It's just two different types of hunting, and maybe I'm just justifying because that's how I've shot antelope, but which could be the case, Right. But I can sit.
You never hear that question. Oh, did you call that elk in, or did you sit a wallow?
I hear that.
I guess I don't pay attention to elk very much.
Yeah, people say that.
But it's still hard no matter which method you do.
Yeah, people will say that, like, oh, did you call that bull in? Or it just seems like this methodology of like sitting on water, sitting in a wallow, sitting on a water hole for an antelope buck is like this lower form of hunting. I was just curious what your guys' thoughts are, because to me it's not.
No.
You're out there to harvest. You're out there to hunt. It's a method of hunting. It's very effective, and I think if you got I'm a patient dude. Like I can sit dark to dark for days and days and days. The other thing I think is interesting is like whitetail hunting, right? Totally normal. Everybody hunts from a tree stand. Like that's how you hunt whitetail, right? Nobody would be like,
right.
Do you think if a guy, like let's say a guy in, Indiana shoots a big buck, like first question on social media when he posts that thing isn't spot and stock?
Right.
Question mark?
Everyone know damn well he was sitting in a tree when he shot that thing.
Yeah. I want to stack the cards in my favor. If it's more conducive, the terrain to spot and stock, I'm going to spot and stock. If it's hot and dry, or I know there's a lot of antelope in the area and I want something different, like that's what I went into this hunt for. Because every single buck I've killed at this point, I think I killed 7 spot and stock antelope.
Mm-hmm.
Never killed one from a ground blind. I wanted to try something different.
Gotcha.
I wanted a different experience because I know both methods can be successful, and I just wanted a different challenge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like Neville said, it is challenging to sit in a ground blind from daylight to dark, especially when you don't have a single antelope come in to motivate yourself for the next day.
Mm-hmm. And it's hotter than shit.
It's so weird. I can do that day in and day out and literally have nothing come in. I've done it in Nevada. I shot that buck, I think it was 6 days, like dark to dark. That buck finally came in like on day 6 and I shot him. But like to me, the first day is the hardest. Like to me, the second, third, fourth day is like, it gets easier. It seems like those days like start to flow by, and like I get in just like, I don't know, I really like the mindset of like just time to think, time to read, time to just watch things out in my blind. Did you guys ever get that feeling like when you're sitting in a blind, it feels like your world is really small? Like, do you have this feeling ever? Because like you can thoughts. I look out my windows and it's like I can only see this much, and like everything else is like blacked out, right, or dark.
Right.
And like I found that after, like in the evening when I climb out of my blind after dark and you like look out across the landscape, it feels so big and expansive because my space has been so small
in that tiny little hole.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Haven't had that one.
Haven't had it. Well, you will.
I will once I get the older I get.
You'll start to notice it.
Tiny, big world.
Yeah. Yep. Fun hunt though overall. I think. I had fun. I don't know if you guys. I hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah.
How'd you enjoy using the Baku bikes? Because you used them quite a bit from camp to get to your blind location and like. Yeah,
they were awesome. I couldn't keep the tires pumped up. Obviously, I had 2 flats. Flat in both bikes, I guess.
You're just an off-road machine.
Yeah.
All you were doing is riding 2 tracks, but who knows what you were doing.
Cactus. I was thinking too, maybe how you wedge the bike in between those 2 big rocks.
Yeah.
Do Do you think maybe if like in there and it like tilted one way and it
No.
or it got so hot the tire expanded with the pressure of those rocks?
It couldn't be that tighter. I couldn't have got it in. Like, it was loose enough that I could like put it in and pull it out.
Lay it down, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that one. That one was weird because, like I said, it was totally fine when I rode in. I rode the whole way, which is probably, I don't know, 7 miles, I guess. And left it there. Tire was pumped up, no issues whatsoever. Sat the blind that whole day. Got back to it that night after dark, and like that tire was totally flat. Tires were inside the rim except for on one edge. It was like pulled outside the rim. So I think maybe somebody else helped me out on that.
Someone was playing with your tire.
Yeah, maybe some
that
other.
was the day that someone came into your water hole,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, had a guy come into the water hole and drive around it and then leave and go out that way, like right past where that bike was wedged.
Like,
so
I'm gonna make this guy walk home.
Yeah, which
really pissed him off.
did.
And he did walk.
Yeah, I did. I had to walk back, but
I used would have been that first morning we're there before season, the day before opener. We're kind of just out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was flying on that thing.
It was awesome.
I was like on gravel roads.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't doing too much. I was just sticking on like the main road and I was hauling.
Yeah.
I didn't even pedal once. I look over at Trail and he's like pedaling all the time. I'm like, dude,
we have e-bikes.
There's a motor on this thing and I'm going to use it.
Yeah, the first day I didn't even put a battery in it and I just rode it around like a bike. And then the other times I used it, like the pedal assist is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Like amazing. And then the throttle, I mean, it's like a throttle on a motorcycle. Like, you're not going that fast, but like you're going up every hill, no issue whatsoever. I mean, I think they're pretty cool. Like for an elk hunt, like if you got an area that's got some logging roads or some ATV trails that you can use, you don't want to pack around an ATV and the noise associated with those. Like that morning when I went in on it, I mean, it was so quiet. You could slip in so quiet, ditch your bike and walk into your blind a half mile. It was like super easy. I liked it a lot. I mean, other than the issues I had with tires. I have to look in to see if they make.
Do you have issues with tires on your truck? Do you? Or
I got some issues going on right now with my tires.
True.
Actually,
Dude,
yeah.
what is it going on?
Got a little alignment issue I think going on, which I want to fix. But then I also want to go elk hunting this week. So
yeah, just go elk hunting.
Guess I'm going elk hunting.
Guess you're gonna have to really be holding hard on the wheel, huh?
Oh yeah, it's got some
pulls to the left,
some
or right.
shake in it to the right.
Well, what's next for everyone?
I'm going elk hunting.
Yeah, you both are going elk hunting this weekend.
It's September, dude. What is it? Actually,
it's August 30th today.
It's the 30th when we were doing this podcast, but I'm sure when it comes out, it'll be September.
Oh yeah, we'll be a weekend.
Hopefully, you guys will be both in the field.
I'm going to sit water when this is going to be out. I'll just be getting done sitting on
You are less of a hunter.
I'm going to sit water. It's supposed to be 90 degrees. I'm going up to Wyoming. I got some sick wallows.
You're well prepared from what we just experienced in this antelope hunt to sit water.
Dude. You got a longer hike, though.
I do have a longer hike. I'm going to have to earn that one.
Yeah, you'll earn that one. Getting in and out. Yeah, I've got an elk hunt start. I'm leaving tomorrow. Got a camera guy driving down, and we're going to link up, and we're going to hit it hard for the next 2 weeks and hopefully kill a nice bull.
We got elk.
I'm really excited for you, Trail, on this one. I have some good vibes.
I hope so. I've been kind of nervous. I think I talked to you guys and told you it's kind of a weird situation to have like a limited entry tag in your pocket where you're seeing nice sixes. And I've seen some bulls like over the weekend. I saw a couple bulls. I think one was I think he might be 340. I saw another bull that was probably 330. And any hunt that I've been on over the last several years, if I'd have seen a bull that caliber, I'd been like all in on that bull. That's it. I'm just going to hunt that bull and go at it. But I have like a little bit of wanderlust associated with this, and I'm kind of thinking like, what else is out there, But ultimately, I'm gonna focus. That one bull with the light horn bull, I posted some video. Just I was curious as to what people thought about size, because
what was the
blowing up your spot. I see how you're doing.
Yeah.
What was the number one voted?
Everybody
score?
thought that one was 330 plus, 320 plus, but I think that bull's bigger than that. I think that bull's probably 340ish.
It was a trick question, huh?
Yeah, it was tricky. That's the thing, man. I think I'm fairly decent. I've looked at a lot of elk in my lifetime, and I think I'm fairly decent at like guesstimating a bull, like what he might score. But man, you get him on the hoof, you get body size, and you start looking at him. It can be pretty tricky.
What did Porter vote on there?
He didn't vote.
Why didn't he vote?
He didn't know. He only kills giants,
Only
right?
kills giants.
I think I hit the 330.
Yeah. I think he's big. I think he might be bigger than I think even. It wouldn't surprise me if that bull on the ground is like 345.
Ooh, 365.
That would shock me. I don't know if he's quite
He's
that big.
very thick.
He's long. Yep. Nice bull. It's fun. I mean, it's fun to have. It's fun to see bulls. You know, it's fun. I saw way too many people, but it's Utah.
You think you're gonna call one in? You're gonna sneak in on one?
I don't know. It's supposed to be really hot this week.
You're sitting on water, aren't you?
I might. Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah. There's a good chance. I mean, there's a lot of water, but if I can, I think I've got kind of some water sources pinned down. I think that might be getting some action based on elk I've seen. And I did see 2 bulls go to water Saturday night late, just probably an hour before dark. So I know, they're hitting it in the evening.
And they're starting to talk, too.
Yeah. I had a bull bugle 6 times, and I pulled out the old bugle and bugled back to him, and we had a little conversation for a minute.
He was bugling back to you too?
Yeah, he was responding.
What were you saying to him?
I was like, "Hey man, how's things? How's the rut?
Yeah.
Where's those bigger bulls at?" Because I think he was just like a small 5x6 or something. But
yeah. What's your expectations, Neville? Just sit water, see what comes in, because you also have the opportunity to go later too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna.
I'm just trying to
get the lay of the land a little bit.
I'd really like to shoot one, so when we go in October, we can focus on shooting one. No matter what, on a trip you go on, shooting two elk on one trip's always tricky. So it's just kind of trying to get at least one on the ground.
If Josh shoots one, you're gonna be pissed.
Nope.
With his bow.
Just shoot one, Josh.
Be redemption for him.
Get it over with, because I'm gonna shoot an absolute whopper come October.
What are you gonna do in first bull comes in first evening and he's like a 260-inch smoke?
He might be getting it.
Really? You're not gonna hold out for a big dog, huh?
Not on a general tag.
Yep. No, I get you.
Not on a general tag.
You guys gonna sit together or split up?
There's 2 water spots, 2 watering holes, so we'll probably split up.
Put one on one and one on the other.
And I like this spot because there's no other water. It is dry as a bone in there.
It's a good spot.
Well, if you guys are wondering what I'm going to be doing,
Brady,
that was my next question.
You're gonna be
what are you gonna do?
chewing tobacco, drinking beer, and watching football?
I don't watch a lick of football.
Come on, dude.
Football's lame, man.
Shut up.
It's hunting season.
You guys are stupid.
I'm going to be holding down the fort for you guys, working hard, so that when you guys come back, it makes your lives easier.
We could do it in return for you.
Yeah, but also I'm going to be shooting my rifle a lot here coming up.
Nice.
When do you kick off?
Late October, middle October.
You have so long to
I
wait.
have a long, long wait.
Sure you don't want to come hunt elk?
I offered my assistance.
Come on up, man.
I'm trying to convince Matt Ashley to let me go on that mountain goat hunt with him.
That'd be fun.
I don't think I need to convince him. I just got to convince Chris Porter.
The powers that be.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea for me to take some photos.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping I can do that, but I don't know. I also have my brother's wedding, September 17th. So
Did you tell him it's a terrible day to get married?
it's a terrible day. Any of you guys listening, convince your significant other that you should not get married in September. Summer's a great month. Winter's a great month. Spring even.
Yeah.
Maybe not even. I don't know. I mean, that's my advice. Based on everything I've dealt with.
Write that down. Write that down.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, I'm excited to get my rifle dialed. I got a lot of work to do. I mean, it's dialed as it is, but just fine tuning things. A little more practice in, do more reloading.
Do you feel like your bow's ready to go, Nev?
Oh, yeah.
Fine tuned and ready. Gotcha. I made some tweaks last week. I got home.
Why does he keep touching things?
This bow sucks.
Yeah, I got home and shot it through paper, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It's kind of a little right tear, which I didn't have. I didn't think.
Maybe you're torquing it.
So, yeah, swap top hats, move the sight, re-sight it in. Feels good now. Arrows flying true. Looks good. But
What did I tell you? I thought we went over this like in 20 podcasts ago. We said we'll get to a point where we will not tinker with our bow anymore.
I know, but when I shoot it through paper and I get a right tear, I can't talk myself out of it. I'm like, nope, gotta tune it.
Did you shoot another one?
Gotta tune. What do you mean, arrow through paper? Oh, yeah.
You're getting right tears everyone.
I shot like 6 arrows through paper, and I was getting like a pretty consistent like quarter-inch right tear. So then I was like, oh, I can't live with this.
You still shooting the button on this elk hunt?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I am. I like the button, man. I really do. That thumb button release from UltraView has been really, really good. And I don't know. I mean, we had some other releases today that I was playing with here with Adam in the office. And, they've got different size thumb barrels and angles and whatnot. And, from whether you're looking at Carter or Stanislavski. But there's really something about that UltraView button, the barrel on that just really works for me. I mean, I can shoot that thing like I shoot my back tension release, but I feel like it gives me, added control of having a trigger, which is pretty handy in a hunting situation.
Sure is. Well, this is the last of the Antelope recap. If you guys want to hear about how all these other days went, we did day-by-day series. So if you jump back up, you'll see we think there's four days.
Yeah,
I think it's 4 days because we did 2 in 1.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, be sure to check out our Antelope recap.
Congrats to
Day by
Trail
day series.
and Brinker. You
The
guys
Antelope
are
Slayers.
heroes.
They started the season right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to be out hunting.
Now Brady has to wait all the way till October.
I mean, I did take a bear earlier, so I
That's
feel
true,
like I kicked
yeah.
off my season in
That's
a way.
right.
Yeah, you
that's
did.
2022.
Yeah, you're right. It was a nice one.
Yeah, my biggest bear. So,
Yeah, that's cool. I'm sorry you have to wait till October.
hey man, that's the troubles when you're a rifle hunter. You're giving up everything.
Yeah, well, we'll be done when you're rolling. So
Yep. I'll be kicking off a strong season.
good deal.
Pleasure having you guys on.
Promo
Promo code
code
podcast. If
podcast.
you want to join GOHUNT Insider or Explore Maps, use that promo code. We'll give you some points in the GOHUNT Gear Shop to buy some gear. Also, if you want to check out some Antelope hunt film, we just released one a couple weeks ago. Hunting Not Horseshoes with Trail Kreitzer in Arizona chasing antelope for a week straight. He might shoot one, he might not. So you better check it out
Better check it out.
to see
And subscribe.
and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Very good.
All right. Catch you on the flip side.
Deuces.